You know, one of the biggest concerns for Chiefs fans right now has got to be Hollywood Brown's injury situation. He's still not practicing, and that's left a lot of people wondering if the offense is going to be in real trouble early on. I get it, when your number one receiver can't get on the field, it puts a lot of pressure on the rest of the group, especially Travis Kelce and Xavier Worthy. Kelce has been carrying this offense for years, and it feels like he's always asked to shoulder an enormous load. But with Hollywood out, it might just get even heavier. The coaching staff seems to be aware of this. From what I'm hearing, they hoped Hollywood would be back by now, maybe even get a few snaps in the preseason opener against the Cardinals, but it looks like that's not happening yet. The vibe coming from Matt Nagy is cautious but optimistic. He's careful not to rush Hollywood, which makes sense given the unique nature of his injury last year and how important it is for him to be fully healthy to run precise routes for Patrick Mahomes. Now, I want you to understand the balance here. Hollywood is a pro, and he knows the stakes. But he's not 100% yet, and the coaches want him fully healthy before throwing him back into the fire. They're penciling him in as a starter for Week 1, but there's no guarantee he'll be ready on day 1 of the season. That uncertainty means Travis Kelce might feel like he's in a never-ending tug of war, carrying that weight of the universe yet again. What really hits me is that this isn't a new story. It feels like every year, Kelce is the guy who just can't catch a break with injuries around him, especially at wide receiver. It's almost like an abusive relationship. We promise this year will be different, we'll get you some help, but then it all falls back on Kelce. The hope is that with players like Xavier Worthy stepping up, the burden gets a little lighter. Worthy showed some real growth toward the end of last season, and there's reason to believe he'll continue to develop into a reliable target. But here's the big question for you. Are you worried about Hollywood Brown's injury situation? Do you think he'll be ready to go by Week 1, or is this going to hurt the Chiefs' offense out of the gate? I want to hear your thoughts, so drop a yes or no in the comments. Before we move on, if you want to stay up to date with all things Chiefs injury news, game breakdowns, and insider info, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. It really helps the channel grow and keeps you in the loop with the latest updates. Now, let's dig into what's going on with the defense and some other injury concerns coming up next. Drue Tranquil's recent back issue is another injury that's caught some attention. Watching him leave practice with that awkward fall and back tightness definitely raised some eyebrows. Back injuries are tricky, especially for linebackers who need that core strength and mobility to make plays all over the field. And here's the thing, Drue's turning 30 soon, which in NFL terms, especially for a linebacker, means you start to watch those aches and pains a bit more closely. It's not like this was a contact injury, no big hit or collision, it just seemed like his body was telling him it's not 100%. For a guy who plays such a critical role in the defense alongside Nick Bolton and Leo Chenal, any drop-off could be noticeable. He's coming off a solid season and is in what some might call a contract year, even though it's a bit of a baby contract year. Basically, his performance now could have a real impact on his future with the team. The good news? For now, it doesn't seem like a severe injury, and the hope is that it's just a tight muscle or minor setback. But you can't ignore that August is a tough time to be dealing with back issues. The body is fresh off off-season work, and all those hard practices start to add up. If this lingers, it could mean less time on the field during preseason and a bit of a question mark heading into Week 1. One thing I'm watching closely is how the Chiefs handle his workload over the next few weeks. They don't need him pushing through pain right now, better to be patient and have him ready for the regular season. Remember, linebackers don't just rely on speed and strength, they need that core stability to avoid giving up ground or making costly mistakes. It's also worth keeping an eye on some of the younger guys like Jeffrey Baza and Louis Cine, who might get more snaps if Tranquil isn't 100%. Depth in the linebacker room is important, especially with the level of competition the Chiefs face. So here's where I want to hear from you. On a scale from 1 to 5, how concerned are you about Drue Tranquil's back? 1 meaning you think it's no big deal, and 5 meaning you're pretty worried about what it could mean for the season. Drop your number in the comments, and let's see where the fan base stands. And if you're digging this breakdown so far, please hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe for more honest, up-to-date Chiefs news. We've got a lot more to cover, including the defensive injury picture, coming up next. Christian Fulton and a few other defensive players are also drawing some attention with their injury situations. Fulton, in particular, has been slower than expected to get back into practice, and that's raising some eyebrows. Now, he's a veteran cornerback, so it's not like he's brand new to the defense. But being new to the scheme means he needs as much practice time as possible to get comfortable with the calls and coverages. Fulton's delayed return is a bit concerning because the Chiefs' secondary is already under pressure to perform at a high level. If he can't get on the field soon, it puts more responsibility on other corners and safeties to fill the gap. The coaching staff is likely watching this closely. They want to avoid any lingering injuries that could force last-minute lineup changes once the regular season starts. Aside from Fulton, there are a handful of other defensive players dealing with minor injuries or limited reps. While none of these appear serious right now, the pattern of preseason injuries on defense is something to monitor. It can affect chemistry and the overall ability of the unit to gel before the season opener. Still, it's early in training camp, and there's plenty of time for these guys to bounce back. The Chiefs have a solid depth chart, and young players like Louis Cine and others can step up if needed. But the concern remains that if these setbacks continue, it might disrupt the rhythm and timing the defense needs. So, what do you think? Can the Chiefs' defense overcome these preseason injury hiccups? Will they hold strong come game day, or do you feel these early issues could lead to bigger problems down the line? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're liking the way we're breaking down the Chiefs' injury news, make sure you're subscribed to Total Chiefs News. Hit that subscribe button now so you don't miss any updates as we head deeper into the preseason. Let's take a step back for a moment and look at the bigger picture here. The Chiefs' injury concerns this preseason feel like a bit of a déjà vu, right? We've seen this story before: key players missing time, contract years adding pressure, and the offense trying to adjust on the fly. Hollywood Brown's situation is a prime example. This is his second straight contract year, and the stakes couldn't be higher for him and the team. What's interesting is how the team has been managing the development of younger players like Xavier Worthy. Worthy showed clear improvement down the stretch last season, with better yards per route run and a bigger role in the offense. The hope is that he can continue that upward trajectory and help fill the void if Hollywood isn't 100% early on. We've seen that pattern before with other Chiefs receivers, like Rashid Rice, who also had a strong second half as a rookie. Still, it's hard not to be a little frustrated. The Chiefs made some big strides with their offensive line and skill positions, yet they keep running into injury hurdles that slow things down. The offense's success often hinges on those key players being healthy and in sync with Patrick Mahomes. When injuries pile up, it throws a wrench into the rhythm and game plan. So here's a quick poll for you: do you think the Chiefs can overcome these preseason injury setbacks and still make a deep playoff run? Hit yes if you believe they've got what it takes, or no if you're worried it could derail their season. I'm curious to see how confident the fan base is. Remember, the Chiefs have a history of bouncing back from tough situations, but patience and health will be critical. Make sure to subscribe to Total Chiefs News if you want ongoing updates and honest takes on the season ahead. Hit that like button, too, if you're rooting for a strong comeback from this team. As we look ahead to the rest of the preseason, Chiefs fans should be paying close attention to how these injuries evolve and how the coaching staff manages the workload of key players. The goal is clear: keep the starters healthy and ready for Week 1, even if it means sitting some guys out of preseason games. That's the smart play, especially with how demanding the regular season schedule is shaping up. We'll want to watch updates on Hollywood Brown closely, especially if he starts getting some practice reps or even snaps in the upcoming preseason games. His availability could be a big factor in how explosive the Chiefs' offense looks early on. The same goes for Tranquil. If his back holds up and he can return to full speed, that's a huge boost for the defense. It's also important to stay tuned for any news on Christian Fulton and other defensive players who are still working their way back. The Chiefs have enough depth to cover short-term absences, but long-term health for these veterans is key to maintaining consistency and experience on the field. One thing every fan needs to keep in mind is patience. Injuries are frustrating, but pushing players too hard before they're ready only risks setbacks. The Chiefs know this and are likely erring on the side of caution. Still, the clock is ticking, and we'll all be watching closely as the season opener gets closer. Now, I want to hear from you. Which injury update do you want me to cover next in detail? Is it Hollywood Brown's progress, Tranquil's back, or someone else? Drop your pick in the comments so I know what you want to hear more about. And if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss a beat on Chiefs news, injury updates, and game analysis. Your support helps keep this channel growing and brings you closer to all the latest from Arrowhead. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next update.